I was the vicar of All Saints from 2007, right after I was ordained, through 2010, when I moved off to New York City to take up a post there. Here I was, right out of seminary, not knowing what in the world I was doing, and confronted with what at the time seemed an overwhelming situation, a heavily indebted church with very few members, no money in the bank, and that was my first assignment out of school.
Well, Michael left in the spring of 2010, and so they had some interim folks working here for a while. And I'd been at a small church in Fayetteville, Tennessee, and the bishop asked me if I'd like to come up and work at All Saints.
And I could not have custom ordered a better replacement. I knew Randy while I was serving here, and he was at another church nearby. And if there was a priest in this diocese that I thought would fit here, I would have picked Randy.
We found, as we were here for just a brief period of time, that this was a very accepting community of people. It was like they just opened their arms to us and loved us and welcomed us. And it made us feel like we'd never really been in a community before because the people were so kind and so loving.
We're not the only place that show hospitality to strangers or the needy or immigrants or refugees, but we do have that story, and we're so thankful that this movie is a medium to help spread that message to others, and we pray that it will be an encouragement to other faith communities, Christian and otherwise, to open their hearts and homes to the immigrant, the refugees, the strangers, because we do firmly believe that is where God's heart is.
I was standing back on the fields the other day, and I love being back there. It's rich with memory, but some of the memories were lonely ones. I was learning as we went along, and we made a lot of mistakes, and it was through the testing, days when I felt very alone, days when I felt abandoned, days when I was frustrated, I didn't know what God wanted from me. I was not strong enough to bear the responsibilities that were given me. I think what the Lord was trying to teach me is to be helplessly dependent on Him and not try to be trusting the strength of my own arm. My sense of my relationship with God is this is for real, this is life and death, this is deadly serious, and it's rough and tumble. And we had great triumphs here, and we had great joys, and we had great celebrations, and we had just some flat-footed anger and frustration and worry and fear all mixed up in there too. But the Lord worked it all out in the end.
I believe, like in every city that has immigrants, there's probably a church looking for a mission. You know, what would it be like if every small church that's only got 30 people said, we're going to have a mission among the immigrant community in our community, and we're going to invite them into our church, and we're going to do what we need to do to welcome them. And I think it would be a transformative experience if that happened in your church.
Our services are in 2 languages. We sing our hymns concurrently in English and Korean. They're praising God in their own language. They're hearing the gospel preached in their own language. But yet we are a blended community. It's not just us and them, it's us all together.
This is a story about faith, and the real story is about community and relationships. You know, Jesus said, love your neighbor with all your heart and love the Lord with all your soul. And our neighbors who came from somewhere else loved us, and we couldn't help but love them.
I'm a fairly new priest, and for me, the sermon telling is also a telling of stories, but we're living out that story, and I don't know, it's just exciting.
Truth is really stranger than fiction. The truth of what happened here is going to surpass anything that any of us ever writes or films or tells, and it was far, far more wonderful. But I would also remind that God doesn't work in past events. He works in the here and now, and He's going to continue to work in the future, which means that none of us are exempt from experiencing something like this in our lives if we would open ourselves to Him and open ourselves to His action. He hasn't said the last word at All Saints or in His world.
Head is hanging low, now I can't find my way.